Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of If I'm Being Honest. I think no one really explains what heartbreak really feels like. I think it's not just about feeling sad, and sad feels manageable. Heartbreak sometimes doesn't. I think heartbreak is the kind of feeling that sits in your chest and makes it hard to breathe sometimes. And I don't mean to sound super dramatic about it, but like you're getting through your day normally, and then suddenly something feels off and something feels heavy. I remember telling them how the word sad felt like it did not hold enough meaning to what I was feeling, like it was some kind of injustice to use the word sad to explain the emotions I was feeling. I used to feel like it was genuinely hard to breathe sometimes. So saying I felt sad felt so small for something to describe something that it felt like it was taking over my whole body. And heartbreak, I don't think is just an emotion because it's physical and you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your chest, and it's in the silence when you're alone, when your mind keeps replaying things that you wish you could forget. You replay conversations, and probably the worst part of it all, you don't just replay them, you edit them a little bit as well. You change the tone in your head, you change certain sentences, and you wonder if you could have said something different. And as you can imagine, you never get the answer to these things, so your mind keeps wondering. And I think the worst part of it all is it feels all so personal because even when you're surrounded by people, you still feel so alone. So you start questioning a little bit like, is what you're feeling normal? Does everyone feel this way? Was it really that deep? Am I feeling too much, maybe? But I think the thing about heartbreak is there's no logical way to to think about it. You can't speed it up and you can't schedule when you will stop feeling it. And maybe you can distract yourself a little bit, but it always comes back to linger a little bit in the quiet moments, in random moments sometimes as well, in things that you probably think shouldn't matter, but suddenly they start to matter. And maybe that's what makes heartbreak so much more intense in your 20s because you're still figuring out who you are and you're still building your sense of self. And then suddenly something just comes to a halt and it ends. And you're left sitting with the realization that maybe you didn't fully know how to stand on your own yet. And you start thinking that maybe the version of you that was in that relationship maybe isn't as whole and as complete as you thought it was. And sometimes heartbreak isn't even about the other person. Sometimes it's about you. It's about what you gave them, what you allowed, what you ignored, and what you hoped for as well. It's also about realizing what you're capable of feeling. And I think it's about not knowing what to do with that feeling once it's gone. And if you watched my previous episodes, I do say that there's beauty in heartbreak. And I believe that 100%. But in the beginning, there's no beauty in it at all. And people love to say that heartbreak makes you stronger and everything happens for a reason. But when you're in it, I think this is the last thing you want to hear. When you're going through heartbreak, it just feels like a loss. It feels like emptiness, like something has been taken from you and you can do nothing about it. You just have to sit with it. But eventually, something shifts and it doesn't happen all at once. And I think it's very gradual. And I don't think it happens in some big, obvious moment, but slowly. And slowly, you're able to breathe a little bit easier again and you laugh without forcing it. You go a few hours without thinking about it, and then you go a whole day, and then you go a whole week. And then eventually you realize that you're still here. You realize that you survived it. And more than that, you realize what it taught you. And I don't mean that in like a cliche way, but in a real way of you understand how much you're capable of feeling, how much you can give, and how much you can survive. Even after it stops hurting in that like really intense, gut wrenching way, I don't think it fully ever disappears. It shows up in very small, subtle ways, in the way you think, in what you notice, and in what you won't ignore the next time around. And maybe that's the part that no one really talks about enough. Because heartbreak doesn't just hurt you, it reveals you, I think. It shows you what you're willing to risk, it shows you what you're afraid of, and I think it actually shows you what matters to you. And I don't think you should look at heartbreak as failure. I think you should look at it as proof that you are capable of loving. It's proof that you cared, it's proof that you let someone in, and it's proof that you allowed yourself to feel something real. And that is not weakness. And I said before, and I'll say it again, that takes courage. Loving takes courage. So, yes, maybe heartbreak does feel like losing yourself a little bit at first, but eventually you will find yourself. And you won't find yourself in the exact same way again. But I think you're more aware and you're more grounded. And heartbreak is proof of how capable you are of loving someone. And as long as you had love, it's never a waste of time, because I don't think love could ever be a waste of time. See you guys next week.